made it to Turquoise Lake, and we get to drive around the lake on the way to the trailhead. It's really beautiful today. What do you think, Forrest?
See you next year.
I am off now, finally. Very excited to be getting back on the trail again after 4 weeks off recuperating. So hopefully it'll go well. I'm feeling good. And let's just take it a day at a time, a mile at a time. I've been doing a lot of kind of rocky trail this afternoon, so I just passed a little creek crossing where I stopped to get some water and saw this little bit of flat trail and rejoiced. So I know it's not going to last, but I always like to appreciate those things when they come my way or when I come their way. Well, I just entered the Mount Massive Wilderness. I've done a little bit more than 3 miles today, which took me a long time, but I'm okay with that. And I'm looking down there, and I think that that is Leadville, right down there. I am not ashamed of my slow progress at all after being off trail for 4 weeks. I really had to take my time on that climb. It was just, I think it was 1,000 feet over a little over a mile. Can't remember actually. But feeling the altitude a little bit, so I was stopping a lot to catch my breath and just take breaks. And now that I'm up and over the top and the trail's gotten a little bit less steep, I'm feeling really good. Okay, I just gotta say the last mile or so of trail has been like this mostly, and it is pure heaven. I am definitely back in the rocks, but I am getting close to my destination. In fact, I can hear the water from Rock Creek, and I think I've got maybe anywhere from 0.3 to 0.5 to go, so it won't be much longer. So this campsite is just off the fish hatchery trail. There is a sign right over there, and there's a creek right behind me, which is awesome, and lots of sights. So I stopped about 3:30 and I am all set up for the night. Well, almost all set up. My tent is ready to go, but I haven't done the deed of setting up my bed yet, my sleeping pad. That's always fun to have to blow that up, but I've got plenty of time, so no worries. The creek is right here, so not only do I get to listen to the sounds of the creek, which is pretty good size, I have access to water right here. And there are also plenty of good trees to hang my food bag, which I'm going to do pretty soon. I'm going to pull out what I want to cook for dinner and probably hang the rest just to be safe. But plenty of options here to get it up and protect it from prying bears, raccoons, squirrels, whatever might be hungry. All right, well, it's time for dinner. A little bit early, but I'm going to go to bed early. So anyway, I've got some quick ramen and some chipotle aioli to kind of spice it up a little bit. And then for dessert, I'm going to have either a Rice Krispie treat or some peanut M&Ms, or maybe a little bit of both. We'll see. Not yet. Seems like it takes forever for water to boil at elevation. Well, good morning. I'm up for day 2 of my return to the trail. I need to count and figure out. I think it's probably 24 of hiking, and I'm hoping to do 14 today, but we'll see how it goes. It did rain last night, although the skies are clear this morning. The sun is coming up over that way, and we had a beautiful moon when I first got up. It was dark when I got up, and I'm taking my time getting ready. I am having some oatmeal right here, some Trailtopia that Andy bought me for my first morning back. And that should be ready in just a few minutes. And then I've also gone ahead and made coffee. I didn't drink much coffee when I first started out, and I think it's because I was so sick and nothing tasted good and I wasn't hungry. But my appetite seems to be back, so I'm eating a little bit better. I had a decent dinner last night, just half a package of ramen, but I ate the whole thing, so that's good. And I'm gonna scarf down the oatmeal this morning and then finish packing up and hit the trail. That does look pretty good. It's got raisins and brown sugar, and I can't wait to try it. Well, I'm finally packed up and ready to go. It took me about an hour and a half between making breakfast and trying to dry off my tent. It's still a little bit wet, but it's riding on top of my pack, and I can pull it out later if I want, if I find a nice sunny spot. Otherwise, I'll just set it up damp tonight, but it could have been a lot worse. There was a thunderstorm that came through last night, but it was fairly early in the evening, like, 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. So when it stopped raining, things could dry out a little bit, but not completely. So that's hiking life, I guess. I'm feeling the altitude a little bit. I'm just a little breathless, but I am taking some Diamox for a couple days, and hopefully that will help. And I've been feeling really good. Like I said, way better than I was before, and I had to get off the trail, so that's a really good thing. I'm hoping to do some bigger miles today. If I go 14, I'll be right outside of Twin Lakes, and then I can hop down there first thing in the morning. So that's kind of the plan. And I've got to climb first thing this morning, so I'm going to go hit that and just see how the day goes. Looks like I'm starting the day in a rock forest. It's really pretty. I was wondering about all these blue markers I see. That's the first one with the directional on it, saying go that way. I think that must be for the Leadville 100 race that's coming up. Guess there's been a little confusion at this trail junction. The top one where it says Highline Trail, somebody wrote not the 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗 Trail, and then looks like they found out the hard way. So the Colorado Trail is also the 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗 Trail, or Trailhead. 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗 is one of the 14ers here that's really popular. I just got to the high point of section 10. So I've done 3.1 miles this morning. And I don't know if you can see, I was just looking over there, and that is actually 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗. Someday I'll hike that, not today. I'm going to take a little break here at the top and just rest for a bit, since that climb was, it wasn't terrible. It really wasn't. It's just that since I'm still acclimating, I just want to make sure that I'm pacing myself appropriately. So anyway, it took me, I hate to say, let's see, a little over 2 hours to do 3 miles. But I was stopping a lot, resting a lot, made a couple phone calls when I had service. So anyway, I think I will get to about 2.5 miles in terms of pace once I am really well acclimated and have my trail legs back after 4 weeks of laying around waiting for my cough to get better. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at, but I do have about 4 miles of downhill, and that should be hopefully a lot easier. Oh, that might be hard on my legs. And then a steep climb, and then I think, not sure what's after that, but I think the trail does kind of level out a bit between here and Twin Lakes. So anyway, so far so good, and I will check in with you later. So far this downhill's been pretty sweet. Not too steep, not too rocky, and I believe I'm coming up on a creek in just a little bit where I can get some more water. I actually drank most of it when I was up there at the top, so time for a refill. And there's the main massive trail. Colorado Trail is number 1776, and I can hear the water I'm looking for right down there. Something different on the trail, and I've never seen one this big. Check out that guy, and here's my shoe for reference. That thing is huge. Looks like a giant loaf of bread. Just walked into a little meadow. That's a nice change of pace for today. Well, that mountain peeking through the trees there is Mount 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗, 14,439 feet. It's the tallest 14er in Colorado. And here is what's become of some of the beautiful wildflowers I saw earlier in the summer. But that's okay, they're going back to the ground, ready to bloom again next year. Well, I made it to the main massive trailhead, although I do think there's another parking area with pit toilets, but I'm tired. I am 7 miles in for the day, which is my halfway point. and it's also lunchtime, so it feels like a great time for just a nice, long, relaxing break. And I've got a real steep climb up, about 500 feet in 0.4 miles as soon as I leave here. So after that, it mellows out a bit and should be pretty good all the way to the turnoff for Twin Lakes. So I'm just gonna rest now, and when I'm ready, then I'll tackle that climb. Well, break time's over and I'm about to head up the hill. Hopefully it's not as bad as I imagined. Okay, so this area is really confusing. I came up from Mount Massive Trailhead, and there's a side trail right up there where that gentleman is standing that takes you down to the 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗 parking. And you come up the trail this way and cross the bridge, and you'll see signs that say Mount 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗, but you actually have to go about a mile. The trails are co-located, and then they will split from here, and you'll have to bear left to stay on the CT. So that's what I've been told. That's what the guidebook says. Get hook far out does not say that, but I'm going to go with the guidebook and hope I'm right. All right, here is the turnoff between Mount 𝘼𝙗𝙫𝙗 and Colorado Trail. And unfortunately, the data that is in Far Out app is not very accurate. So I'm very happy for some of the kind souls who helped point me in the right direction. When I was down at the Mount Massive Trailhead looking to come up here, Far Out said it was 0.6 and like straight up. And so I was like, okay, I can handle that. But then once I got to the little creek there, it was very confusing as far as signs, and Far Out just went way off the rails. The data book actually is accurate. The actual distance climbing up to that trailhead that I just showed you is 1.4. So not a huge difference, but it makes a huge difference mentally, I think, if you're expecting one thing and find another. So I'm not sure how far I'll go today. I'm going to get close to Twin Lakes and just find a nice campsite and stop, and then head down there tomorrow morning. I was sitting in my tent, which is over there now. It was over here when a torrential downpour started, and I found myself in a puddle. So I had to get out in the middle of a thunderstorm and drag it over there on the slope so that I wouldn't have everything soaking wet tonight.